What's up, fellas? Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing the front tire on the Husqvarna. I got a nice brand new tire, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to mount the tire. So in order to prepare and start the process, what we got to do is we got to put the bike on the stand so that we can lift the front tire. Let's get to it. All right, guys. So with the front tire off the ground, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and just remove this front tire and give us access. And there we have it. With the front wheel removed, we can go ahead, we can start putting this on the bench. We're going to clean this up, we're going to grease it, we're going to check the bearings. And fellas, it's always a good idea to check all of your pieces, make sure that everything is good when you've got the wheel off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to loosen these. I'm going to take the air out from inside this tire. I don't know if you guys can see, but fellas, okay, this is what you want to avoid. So again, this tire is long overdue for a change, and we're getting to it right now. All right, fellas, so now what we need is get some gloves on. That's just my personal preference. Fellas, the other thing that you're going to use, or that I found it is almost irreplaceable when it comes to changing out your own tires, is your spoons or your pry bars or whatever you want to call them. Okay, so Motion Pro, I'm not sponsored by them, I have no affiliation, no nothing, but they actually do make great products. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and see what we can do. Step 2, a little bit of Windex. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my first grab if I can, and try not to get the inner tube, and try to get a pretty decent bite. Because once you get this bite, I don't know if you guys can see that, but once you get this bite, now it becomes much easier. And with that, now you can pretty much work your way around. Now, this is the way that I do it. I also have, you can also use a bead buddy, okay, and it gives you some instructions, the removal, the installation. right, now we can go ahead and we can set that inner tube off to the side. And this is due time for a change. Now, when you're at this stage, usually you can go ahead and just remove the rim from the tire. Okay, now I don't know if you guys can see that, but this thing has oodles of wear. It's definitely due time this tire was changed. So out with the old. Now your lock can be used again. I just want to give this rim a little bit of a cleaning and get it going nice and new looking. Okay, let's see if this one here, 21. What you want to do is you want to find where your valve stem is going to be, and that's where you actually want to put this on so that you're not fishing for it. So it's going to go right there, and then I can just go ahead and loop this. All the way around, making sure that this is going to be roughly just like that. Okay, you want to make sure that all of your spokes are covered. Okay. Okay, fellas, so at this stage, what we got going on is, what you want to do is you want to put the rim inside of the tire. This is the way I do it. You don't have to do it this way. It's just the way that I do it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare the inner tube to go back in. Now, in order to do so, what I like to do is I like to clean it, and I want to check it for holes because I just removed it from the tire. And the last thing you want to do is go ahead and put your inner tube back in that you've pinched when you were removing it. So with that said, let's go ahead. We're going to put the valve back in. We're going to pump it up. We're going to clean up that inner tube, and I'm going to do that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick the valve back in, and I'm going to put a little bit of air in it. You'll see what I mean here in a sec. And that's about all that you want to do, is just put a little bit of air in there so that it's okay. And from this point, what I do is, again, with the Windex, let's see if I can, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to okay, and what I'm doing is I'm just looking for the bubbles. Bubbles, and you want to make sure that it's nice and clean. Now that your inner tube is done, it's clean. Okay, you verified that you have no holes. You can go ahead and now we can prep it to reinstall into the rig. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the valve. Set it off to the side. Get all the air out of it. Now with all the air out of it, I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to reinstall the valve. Doesn't have to be in nice and tight. Now, in here what I have is baby powder. Okay. Inner tube goes in. Shake, shake, shake. Now we have a inner tube that's ready to be installed. And you can go ahead and put the tire back down and feed it in. Here's where it's going to get a little tricky, is on the rim lock. And this is the idea behind being able to put the rim directly inside of the tire. You can go ahead and you can move it around so that you can get a proper fit. Okay, once you've got it in there, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let me see if I can. Okay, right in there. Okay, so the tire is there. What you want to do is you want to pull that rim out just a little bit. And now it's time to center the rim inside of the tire. Okay, just like so. This is still here. Okay, and that was the idea of putting the inner tube in when we did, and going ahead and putting just a couple threads down on the valve stem. So with that, let's start doing the tire. You guessed it. I'm actually going to start right here. Halfway done. So again, I'm going to start with the one that gives me the most amount of bite. Make sure that you're not pinching the inner tube. Push that bead lock. And sometimes they're not going to want to cooperate with you very well. So and there you have it. You have now successfully mounted your tire. Again, make sure that you are checking the direction, because some tires are going to have a certain rotation that you have to do. Other than that, this is pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and probably do a little cleanup. At this point, your tire is in, your bead lock or rim lock is in. The tire has been inflated, is probably overinflated. However, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I have a good, clean seat all the way around. So what it is that I do is I overinflate it a little bit, and then you take the tire and you just back it. Now you can go ahead and check your seat, and you're going to see that it has made a difference. Fellas, that's all there is to it. Now you can go ahead You can put this back on your bike and you are good to go. Thanks for watching.